Namaste, viewers. With a heavy heart and prayers for all those who lost their lives in the dastardly terror attack in Kashmir, we begin today's market wrap. It's Wednesday morning, April 23, 2025, and I'm your host, Sunil Thakker of Sunny Talks Money. Indian domestic indices, Nifty 50 and Sensex, extended their rally for the sixth consecutive session on April 22, albeit on a more muted note compared to the bumper gains recorded during the past few days. At close, the Sensex was up 187 points, or 0.24% at 79,596, and the Nifty was up 42 points, or 0.17% at 24,167. In the process, the BSE benchmark index, the Sensex, has now surged 7.8% to 5,749 points in the last six straight trading sessions. The NSE benchmark has now rallied 7.9% or 1,768 points in the last six straight days. India's benchmark equity index, Nifty 50, celebrated its 29th birth anniversary yesterday on April 22, 2025. The NSE had launched the Nifty 50 index on this day in 1996, just 2 years after the exchange started its operation. The index was launched with a base date of November 3, 1995, and a base value of 1,000. Derivative trading on the Nifty 50 began on June 12, 2000. While the benchmarks traded flat, the broader market continued to shine. The Nifty Mid Cap 100 and the Nifty Small Cap 100 indices gained 0.8% each, as investors continued to hunt for bargains among the beaten down counters. On the Nifty, Tata Consumer Products led the gainers, followed closely by SBI, Kotak Mahindra, M&M, and HUL. Meanwhile, IndusInd Bank was the biggest loser. Other notable laggards included Hero MotoCorp, Power Grid Corporation, and Infosys. On the sectoral front, the Nifty FMCG gauge shone brightly, soaring nearly 2% during the session. At Switzerland-based brokerage, UBS turned constructive on the consumer staples sector. In a note, the brokerage house upgraded a series of FMCG players on expectations of the current financial year, paving the way for a broad-based recovery in this sector. The banking index also posted strong gains as the RBI released the final liquidity coverage ratio (LCR) guidelines, which seem to be far softer than the draft guidelines. According to the RBI, this will lead to 600 basis points improvement in LCR at the aggregate level for the banking sector. HDFC Bank stock achieved the rupees 15 lakh crore milestone, thus becoming the third Indian company to hit the level. Only Reliance Industries and Tata Consultancy Services had achieved this milestone before HDFC Bank. HDFC Bank shares had been on a steady uptick most post the lender's March quarter results. On the other hand, shares of IndusInd Bank dropped as much as 6% following reports that the bank's board had brought in Ernst & Young to conduct a second forensic audit. This new probe will focus on a rupees 600 crore discrepancy related to accrued interest income from bank's microfinance portfolio. Indian markets are expected to largely remain unperturbed by the issues in the US market and continue to see strong buying interest, particularly in smaller stocks. Analysts, however, caution that the small and mid-cap stocks are still not attractive even after they have corrected 13 to 16% from peak levels. The reason? The Buffett indicator. The Buffett indicator, the valuation gauge named after billionaire investor Warren Buffett, is flashing caution for Indian equities. The Buffett indicator, which is calculated by dividing the country's market capitalization by its GDP, is considered significantly overvalued if it exceeds 115%, according to estimates. Any value between 98% to 115% is moderately overvalued, while a reading between 80% to 98% is fairly valued. Generally, a value above 100% is read as the market being overvalued. On the commodities front, gold prices hit a fresh record high, reflecting persistent global risk aversion. Stocks to watch today: HCL Tech, Ashoka Buildcon, PENC Infrastech, Airtel, Bharat Forge, Cient, DLM, M&M Financials, RBL Bank, Tata Communications, Wari Energies, AU Small Finance Bank, Huhtamaki India, Delta Corp, 361 WAM, Power Finance Corporation, Varun Beverages, Gokuldas Exports, and Ambuja Cements will be in focus on April 23. What now for today? Over the last 8 trading sessions, Nifty has risen more than 2,400 points from the recent swing of low of 21,743. The previous swing high of 23,870 is now expected to support the Nifty. On the higher side, immediate resistance is seen at 24,226 and 24,546. Given the current situation of the terror attack in Kashmir, traders are advised extreme caution while placing trades. In the US overnight, US market extended morning gains to stage a strong comeback on Tuesday, clawing back losses from a bruising previous session, even as investors weighed mounting global trade tensions and fresh political heat directed at Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell by President Donald Trump. The Dow Industrial Average surged 835 points or 2.2%, snapping a 4-day losing streak. The S&P 500 also advanced 2.2%, while the tech-heavy Nasdaq Composite led the charge with a 2.5% gain. Brent crude is $67.1 a barrel. Gold is rupees 98,480 per 10 grams, and silver is rupees 95,550 per kilogram. And that's the wrap for today, my dear viewers. And if you got value from this, please do subscribe, like, and share this video as much as possible. You can contact me at st@st-money.com for any further information. I'll see you again tomorrow morning. In the meantime, happy investing, stay inspired, and remember, it is all about money.